All right, guys, what do I think of this new news that step one of the National Medical Boards, this is the USMLE, who knows what the hell it is. I had to take it, medical students have to take it. It's that step one that the score of which determines your future, at least according to legend, and in fact reality, if you want to do a super specialty like radiology, dermatology, plastic surgery, orthopedics. These kind of things are very competitive, and so the score on this test, and by the way, this is a multiple choice test, hours, you study for months, if not years, stress, pressure, hair loss. I cracked a tooth studying for this thing because I was grinding my teeth at night. And I was at UCSF in the 90s, and this test, it was so important that pretty much the entire curriculum at one point was revolving around what to do. And in fact, I used a book called First Aid for the Boards, which I eventually ended up meeting the authors, Vikas and Tao, and working with them to write questions. It's a whole industry preparing medical students for this freaking test. And they just announced that they're going to change it from a score out of 265 or 275 or whatever it is to a pass-fail. Woohoo! So people have asked me, what do you think about this? Yay or nay or what? And here is the actual nuanced answer. So there is a huge part of me that's like, screw this test. All it does is waste hundreds of hours and months of time of people, students, who are in the prime of their academic and creative lives. They're in their 20s or early 30s. They have so much energy, and we suck all of it out for a test that has absolutely nothing to do with clinical medicine. No patient you touch is going to have anything to do with that test. And I'll tell you how I know this, because I got a 99th percentile score on that test. I studied by playing video games with my friends and going through mnemonics, going through first aid, doing all this stuff, stressing, losing hair, and I got a great score. The third year came around, you take it sometime after the second year. The third year came around, when you're supposed to actually see patients, I had no effing idea what I was doing. I've never been so depressed and scared as going on the wards and realizing I have no clue what I'm doing. That test has nothing to do with reality. But what do we use it for? We use it as a bar that you have to jump over so that you can get into the best residency program or the best specialty or whatever it is. And that's what it's used for. So make it pass fail, right? That'll fix the problem, because now we don't stress people out. They just have to do well enough to pass this basic bar of understanding, knowing that they're diligent enough to do that, and that's fine. Okay, great. Seems to make perfect sense. I say actually delete the whole test. It's a total waste of time, but I'm in the minority. Here's the pushback. What happens if you're at an osteopathic medical school, or you're at a foreign medical school, or you're at a medical school in the Caribbean, and you maybe you screwed up in college, maybe you're not the best test taker, maybe you weren't super diligent, maybe you were a real screw up and you got your act together and you really wanted to be a doctor bad, and you ended up going to one of these other schools. And again, there's a whole spectrum of people that are amazing clinicians that come out of these schools. They distinguish themselves from the mainstream upper tier medical schools by their board scores. If you take that away, now you have to kind of figure out, well, okay, how are they going to distinguish themselves? And this is where we have to rethink all of medical education, because why should we use a stupid, meaningless test to play games with people's futures? We ought to be assessing medical students differently, looking at their humanistic attributes, taking the time they would have spent studying for this test and saying, hey, do something amazing in the world. Go to Africa and do something crazy. Cure a disease. Go do research. Write a book. Make a YouTube channel and educate people. Do something creative and also engaging and meaningful in the world, and show us who you are. And we can look at that and go, you know what, you'd make an amazing orthopedic surgeon or whatever. And maybe that's how we ought to be doing it. So we're asking the wrong questions. All of medical education is fundamentally screwed up anyways, because okay, hold on. I did a speech in 1999 at the end of UCSF Medical School. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. I said exactly what I meant in that speech, which is almost everything we did seemed absolutely ridiculous, had nothing to do with patients, was demoralizing, depressing, and broken. And that was 1999. Do you think it's gotten better? It's gotten worse. We're more about teaching to the test now than we ever were. We're more about reducing what are going to be our future healers to automatons. And then you have the AMA talking about, should we be teaching medical students how to use the EHR so they can be more efficient? What are we doing? It's as broken as it's ever been. The whole thing needs to be fixed, and we got to start with just getting rid of step one. Let's be honest with ourselves. It doesn't help anybody. If you want to screen doctors for diligence, you're already screening them to get into medical school. We ought to be then screening for who are these beautiful, creative, passionate people that are going to contribute to their fellow human beings, humanity, and society in general. And step one, step two, and step three of the USMLE national boards is not doing that. And I'm sorry if that's going to piss off people in the Caribbean or osteopathic schools who are using this. We need better ways to value your contributions than a bullshit test. All right? So here's the call to action. We ought to be lobbying and creatively thinking about better ways to train, screen, and promote the best medical students who are going to make the best doctors. Almost never is that due to a very high test score. All right, and you're looking at someone who got a very high test score who's marginally, I mean, I'm barely staying out of prison, all right? So use that as a bar. That being said, all joking aside, this is a serious, serious topic. Talk to your med school administrators. We may need to talk to legislatures. This may be a bigger movement. All right, guys, share this video, like this video, become a supporter, and don't, if you're studying for USMLE right now, put down that book, smoke a joint, drink something, go out and have some friends, swipe left, whatever it takes, be a goddamn human being, all right? Because you're gonna be a better doctor for it. All right, we out.